Okay, we live. BP Hero Podcast Season 8, Episode number 5. Checking in for you guys. Do the use, you know the deal. First 10 minutes, let everybody file in. Get piled in. Whatever you want to call it. Hope everybody's doing well tonight, tomorrow, whenever you might be catching this. I did have a report that might be having some trouble with the Apple side of the podcast. I need to look into that. But it is still available on Spotify for sure. Do know that. The episode from the week prior always goes up the day that we do the next episode. Just to kind of give you some incentive to, one, either come to the channel or two, catch it live. And then from there, it'll go on Apple or Spotify. So options are available there. I'll look into the Apple thing probably tomorrow. See what I can't get going with that. Hopefully we can get that resolved. That's not cool. Also need to figure out, would some other streaming platforms be convenient as well? Always just kind of assume that Apple and Spotify are kind of like the two most popular ones that people like to use for the podcast. But I could be wrong. Probably am. Q says he's present. What's up, pal? How you doing? Just checking in, getting action started here. So tonight's going to be just kind of a wing it night. Obviously, we're going to talk about softball. That's what we're here for. But if you want to talk about scale on 1 to 10, what's pineapple doing on a pizza? Or if you want to talk about, is a hot dog a sandwich? Or if you want to talk about, I don't know, stuff. We'll just talk about it. I don't care. I don't care tonight. Sometimes I like to kind of mix it up a little bit in terms of production content when it comes to the podcast. Not that obviously we're all here to talk about softball. It always comes up. No matter what we do, we could try and talk about anything other than softball. And softball is always going to come up anyway. But it's always just nice to kind of mix it up a little bit. What's up, Kyle? How you doing, buddy? Hardcore Pro-Am? Yeah, they're dumb. I've got one. I need to find somebody. I've got a few experiments I need to do. I need to find somebody with a bandsaw. And I'll have a little bit of content coming. That won't be another damn bat review. I love doing bat reviews. Don't get me wrong. Doing 3 tomorrow. Hello. And I will say the bat reviews are fun, but it's kind of fun to dive into the other stuff sometimes too. Because it's stuff that maybe normally I wouldn't do. Maybe back in the day I would have. When my dad still had his shop. I mean, we were up there. We took a bat one time and stuffed it full of freaking tennis balls. Just for kind of nothing more than shits and giggles. We've done all kinds of random stuff. Switch these around here. Q wants to know how you should feel if you hit into a triple play asking for a friend. Yeah. So, heard about that. Definitely heard about that. That's a tough break, kiddo. That's one of those times where we kind of need to focus on, and this is where I'm not telling anybody to switch up what they're doing because they need to do what's good for them. But that stuff like that is exactly why I started swinging a balance bat, to keep me out of getting into trouble like that. You go as hard as you want to at somebody. Sometimes it don't matter. It's going to get sucked up. And sometimes you just get tired of your stuff being sucked up. Unless it's certain stuff, you know what I mean? Boing. But you get tired of hard hit balls getting fielded to the point that you want to try and start to work around it a little bit. Have a little bit more control. Obviously, your intention wasn't to hit the ball there. But, it's just kind of how it be sometimes. But if you have something you can control and do basically whatever the hell you want with, and still hit a ball hard, then it opens up a whole new realm of possibilities for things. And I'm learning that as I go here. So the Show Me Games content that I posted, going over my swing footage, was the first game swing outings that I've had with a balanced bat that were, I'll say, competitive. And I learned a lot. I learned that I need to trust myself a lot more. I need to not be afraid to take a big swing. Like, I get really bad about wanting to save home runs. Not wanting to bat home runs. Wanting to save the home runs for the other guys. When there's times where I could hit a home run and do our team a lot of good. Or, I mean, hell, at least swing for one, right? But I try and be conscious of guys that might not have as much bat control, or guys that or more accident prone to hit home runs. I want to make sure theirs count. But prime example of where this stung a little bit was, I can't remember. I don't think it was Show Me Games, or maybe it was. I can't remember. But either way, I had a chance to hit a home run, passed on it because I'm trying to, not be the home run guy. Ended up not hitting a home run when I could have hit a 3-run shot, saved it, and then somebody else comes up and hits a solo. So me trying to think about everybody else cost us 2 runs. Obviously, he hit a solo, so he got 1, but I could have had 3. But me trying to think about everybody else cost us 2 runs. Instead of me just taking the swing, because I had the pitch to do it, instead of me taking the swing and saying, sorry, dude, like, yours doesn't count. Now I don't have to worry about, any of that. But I got to get better at thinking for myself, you might say. Definitely got to get better at that. Dennis says the hardcore ball is nuts. Dennis, I forgot to message you after this podcast. I'm going to do it right now. I'm not even sure. Oh, looky there. All right, Dennis, you got your message, buddy. Let's see. Hardcore ball is nuts. Thoughts on Sanction tournaments not testing? I mean, it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Like, what's the point of having a standard if you're not going to hold the equipment to the standard? But at the same time, imagine trying to regulate bats at every single tournament and trying to get every umpire to make sure that bats are regulated at every single tournament and trying to basically keep a staff of people to regulate bats for every single tournament. It would be a lot of legwork. It would be exhausting, especially for a big tournament. Like, if you're talking like, let's throw for an example. I don't know team count wise. I'm just going to throw, let's say we're having a D-State tournament and there's 20 teams out there. You've got to you're going to have to keep more people on hand to help you manage 20 plus teams worth of bats, not only test them, but keep them managed. There's a lot of legwork that goes into that. Now, for a state tournament, I'm kind of sitting here like contradicting myself now, but for a state tournament, I could see it. But for just a regular old, it's March and we want to have a softball tournament, no, I don't think there's testing should be required at every single tournament, but definitely for the big ones at least. And I know that costs have definitely gone up as far as renting fields and paying people and everything else, but tournament costs have definitely gone up too. So surely they can afford to keep a staff. Volunteers, I don't know. Surely you can figure out something to help regulate the tested bats. But, for stuff like, let's say, the smoke show, or obviously they test for Crown Town, but you could test at multiple divisions for the Crown Town, I feel like. there's definitely opportunity to improve and do more testing. Now, whether they will or not, who knows? This webcam is about to drive me absolutely insane. The way it keeps going bright and dark, bright and dark. Just want to throw that out there. So don't worry, it's not just you suffering, it's me as well. But that's kind of where I'm at with it. Because at the end of the day, you're also not going to do anything to get every single cut bat out of the game. Because there's still cut bats that will pass compression. Or what's to say that somebody couldn't cut a bat, test it, and then one team passes it around? Well, you're in the same situation. You know, and even the other side of it too is it happens at the higher levels. One team testing a bat that's at 240. Well, guess what? Now the whole team's passing it around. By the time that they have a long day and that day's over with, and that bat survives, it's testing 160. But it tested 240 at the beginning of the day. That's why it's just kind of a gray area to me. But you definitely could for the bigger ones. But for every single tournament, I really don't feel like it's, I won't say necessary, but it's just a lot more legwork. Mike has a new glove. I'm going to be honest, I haven't played a single game of softball since that day. We have had, with today's rainfall, I don't know the exact number, but I want to say close to like 11.5 inches of rain in 9 days. It's been wild. I mean, just absolutely wild. Thankfully, Brian, our guy, got us to hook up on some turf, so we were able to get out and get on some turf tomorrow and hit on some turf, because otherwise we weren't probably getting bat reviews in for, probably another week, maybe even a little bit longer. And we got some good stuff coming, guys. I'm talking good stuff that you're not going to want to miss. Dennis says two or more on, you're definitely swinging for it. Yeah, I have to. I have to get better at that. Like I said, it's just not trying to be selfish thing. I do it in every aspect of my life. I will spread myself paper thin for everyone else and then just leave myself out to dry. In instances where, especially on the softball field, it's the same exact thing. I'll make an out trying not to hit a home run when I could hit one, just because I want somebody else to be able to hit it, just in case somebody else doesn't have bat control when I'm making their problem my problem. And I preach, don't make their problem your problem. And I'm not saying that the guys that I played with had bad bat control. Gabe will tell you. I don't think anybody's even seen game footage yet. Maybe I still need to post that. That's one of the stuff I need to post. But Gabe will tell you 100% he has no clue where the ball's going. He is. I want to kill him sometimes. But there's times where I want to say he's proud that he doesn't know where the ball is going. We've been best friends for years. I'm talking, God, probably, what is it, 2023? Probably, God, close to 10 years, maybe even longer than that. And, dude, he hit middle on me in league in 30-degree weather hitting apex bullets because he had no clue where the ball was going. I threw him a pitch, and I've thrown enough BP to Gabe that I just know, oh God, buckle in, here it comes, because Gabe hits the ball extremely hard. His stuff gets on you so fast. And sure enough, he hit it. I had a first baseman's mitt on. I caught it at my chest, snow coned it at my chest, chest, throat region. Had I not caught that ball, or had it been even an inch more out of the snow cone, I'd probably be sounding pretty funny right now. So, and he just he stomped off the field. He stomped to the car after the game, and I was like, "The fuck is that? We good?" He's like, "Well, I just thought I was my best friend. I was just a little upset. I thought he was mad at me. I thought he took a shot at me and then packed his shit and left because the game was over after that inning. I didn't know what happened, but it turns out Gabe just literally has no control where the ball's going at any given time, unless he's wearing Velcro shoes and needs to hit at a pitcher's feet. If you were there, you know." So Kyle says, I'm tired of Pennsylvania win. A bat is cut or not passing. Yeah, it's just one of those things. That stuff will catch up with those guys eventually. Trust me. It might not be in the next year or so, but I'm telling you, that shit always catches up with those guys eventually. And yeah, Adam is 100% correct as well. Guys will start to go play in other tournaments and sanctions if they keep getting tested. Yeah, it's just the same as around here when everybody started using the 52-300 ball, like there was like, all right, well, we're not playing anymore if we have to hit 52-300 balls. That's just kind of how people are. They just jump ship. They're out. They want to go where the good stuff is. That's what kind of brought a lot of stuff to NSA at the time. So I got to remember this correctly. I'm dating myself here a little bit. So ASA went from the 44-375 to the 52-300, and then NSA followed suit. I want to say 2-3 years later, maybe not that long. And basically everybody quit playing NSA and now went to play U-Trip. Like NSA had a pretty decent following around like the mid Missouri area, between Jeff City and Columbia and the tournaments and stuff like that. It had a decent following. You'd have a tournament and there'd be a pretty good turnout, but then they switched to the 52. Nobody wanted to hit them. Everybody wanted to hit a hard ball, so that's what I feel like that's personally what kind of started pushing everybody towards Kansas City and St. Louis was the appeal of hitting a hard ball instead of hitting a 52. People were getting in a car and driving 2.5 hours one way just to hit a harder softball. Kind of wild concept, but whatever. Then it says in Arizona we test bats, but get a sticker, and then they update the sticker every couple of months. And then they test them if a pitcher gets hit. I mean, it's not a terrible idea. It's a way to regulate for sure. But I've seen, I won't say, like, it's not anybody on my team, but I've seen, and I've heard plenty of stories, and everybody's heard them, hearsay, but I've seen it with my own two eyes. Somebody getting a bat tested, it passes, they throw a sticker on it, and I've seen guys attempt to shave them, whether they get the cap to stay in after they do that, because, you got to let the glue set, who knows. I've seen guys attempt to shave bats. I have seen, I don't know how many people test a bat and then take it out to the car and roll it. I can tell how many times I've seen that. So there's ways around it. People suck. Cheating sucks. There's honestly nothing you can do about it. It's lame as hell, but it's just part of the game. It's part of every competitive sport, racing, whatever, video games. Cheaters are going to cheat, and they're dirtbags. And if you're here and you're a cheater, sorry. Stefano says, why haven't I made a top 5 U-Trip and top 5 ASA video to do all the bats that I've ever reviewed? Man, I've had a lot of questions about that. Maybe I should do that. I'm on this content grind trying to do 20 videos a month. Maybe that's not a bad idea. Maybe I should entertain that thought just to get some content going. But I feel like as many bats as we reviewed, gosh, I'd have to go count them. I mean, I bet it's got to be close to probably, I'm going to throw out a number, just say 400. I bet it's got to be close to 400 bats we reviewed. I'm probably way off on that number, but that's what it feels like. I just don't know that you could cut that list down to 5 bats. I just don't know that you could. And everybody's going to have their own opinion on what those 5 bats should be, too. It's kind of the other deal. Curious, any relation, etc., to Hendo at HB Sports? His videos are pretty solid too. Yeah, he hits it well. I mean, other than just being fellow HB guys, no, not really. I don't know him personally. Outside of content creation, hadn't seen him around or anything like that beforehand either. Stefano says, would also love to see a video comparing an out of the wrapper bat versus a rolled bat versus a shaved bat. I got to think, somebody did that. Obviously, it's been an old video and, content. So one thing I've learned, I'm not going to do that to you guys, but I have learned that certain types of content can stand to be covered every couple of years. Even if it's going to be the same result, cover it anyway. Because it might be new viewership, it might be a new discovery. Like I said, even if it might be the same result, do it anyway, just to see. Or just to try and dispel more theories, right? We can say, okay, this happened this time, and it happened the last time too. Hang on just a second. I don't itch my nose, and I'm not sure how much digging for gold I'm going to have to do to get it done. None, thank God. Oh, my God. So it's crazy to believe that as much rain as we've had, my nose is just so dry. My sinuses and chest is just so dry. It's insane. It's driving me absolutely insane. Cussa's got a senior throwback, the old Worth Wicked. Nice. Let's see. Man, I picked up that Ruckus 12 One Piece earlier this year. Then NSA Canada banned all Suncoast bats. Oh, that sucks. All of them? Even though the One Piece was still legal. Also like the small sweet spot. Yeah, so like the deal with the small sweet spot stuff, they're definitely, the One Piece stuff with Suncoast stuff is definitely not as forgiving as the 2-piece and not even as forgiving as some of the other One Piece stuff. But man, if you can strike that barrel and live on it, dude, it's so nasty. And the one thing that I like about sometimes a bat with a smaller sweet spot, especially in a situation like that, is like it keeps you honest. You don't just start swinging at dumb shit, thinking like, okay, well, I can reach it, so I'm going to hit it, or I can do that. You got to think to yourself, all right, well, if I'm going to swing at that, I got to barrel it up. If I can't barrel it up, I'm not going to swing at it. And now I'm talking in regards to like swinging at a pitch for a fact is the ball, but you can do something with, or maybe trying to do something with a pitch that you normally wouldn't do, or trying to really manipulate a pitch. A small sweet spot is one, really going to make you focus on that, or two, not make you take those swings. What's my gamer right now? So gamers right now is the Pure Evil 27 balance, and then the Iron Man Genesis 27 as well. Obviously a balance bat. I'm dabbling into this balance stuff. I've been an in-load guy for literal years. I think the last time I swung a balance bat in a game and seriously meant to like have intention of swinging a balance bat had to be 2015. I gotta think. What year was the red Eastons, the black and red Eastons? 2014. Right, was it 2015? 14 or 15, whatever it was. That was the last time that I swung a balance bat with legitimate cause of like, okay, I'm gonna swing a balance bat now. Am I doing subscriber fantasy football again? God, why did you do that to me? Oh, we could. I know. I got really mad at fantasy football last year. Kind of checked out. I'm. What's the word to use? I'm not necessarily a sore loser, but fantasy football pisses me off. It makes me so mad. We had a league going at work. I started 4-0, and I was on pace to just destroy almost anybody in the league. I ended up fighting for last place, fighting to stay out of last place. Is how bad I ended up being. Starting 4-0. It was so bad. Players got hurt. I had Lamar Jackson, and I traded Lamar Jackson for Mike Evans and somebody. I mean, it was an insane deal. When I pulled it off, like I sent the trade, it was kind of giving the guy a lot of pressure, like, hey, you should take this trade. You should take this trade. You should take this trade. He had a quarterback get hurt. He really needed Lamar. It's when Lamar was going nuts to start the season, and I didn't need Lamar. I can't remember who my other quarterback was. It was Kirk. Was it Kirk Cousins? Who else started really hot? I think it was Kirk Cousins. And then he got hurt. I believe it was. Yeah, it was. So, yeah, because Kirk Cousins started really, really hot. So I was playing him. Obviously, his team was terrible. He was putting up good numbers, though. So I had him. He was going nuts. Then he got hurt. I mean, just everything blew up in my face all at once. Mike Evans forgot how to play football. Wild. I mean, just absolutely wild. And it was like a 14-team league, so everybody's spread so thin. There's guys hanging on to, two quarterbacks. You got to have a quarterback. You got to have a starter and then a backup. There's guys hanging on to a third quarterback at times too, just because they didn't want somebody else to have him. And I get it, because trust me, I would do the same thing. There's times where I will play stuff like that and just make sure that nobody else can win. Like if you listen, I keep we've been big on this Uno thing lately. We play Uno. In between games at the ballpark, I keep a deck of Uno cards in my bag. And if you hear a bunch of yelling and hollering and screaming, and it sounds like somebody's getting ready to get into a fist fight, one, probably because they're about to, and two, it's because we're playing Uno. I got nothing else to tell you. We are playing Uno, and it gets wild. Screaming, and I mean, it's insane. Like, people look at us and they walk by, and they're like, what in the hell is wrong with him? Like, we had Quentin's girlfriend. We were playing a tournament, And she comes walking up, and she goes, "I can hear you guys from the parking lot." And we were quite a ways from the parking lot. So, hey, Uno is serious business. But when I play Uno, my only goal is to make sure that nobody else can win. I don't want to win. I just want to make sure nobody else does, especially certain people like Quentin. So I get that way when I play fantasy football too. Like, especially if I know that like I might not stand a chance, or if I know I'm not going to like, if I'm not going to go undefeated, I don't care. I just want to make sure once I lose my first game, I just want to make sure nobody else wins. What's up, Gio? How you doing, buddy? So D. Haley bought a Catalyst. Yeah. So the Catalyst is going to take a bit to break in. It's still testing north of 310. I believe that. So just beat the crap out of it. I can tell you now. So I was glad that we had a Catalyst, and we put a lot of swings on that thing. But I'm glad we did. We hit it with some really hard stuff too. I know you guys hit a lot of 52s up there, so maybe all you have for BP is 52s, just, because a lot of people use leftover game balls for BP, but I can tell you, you just got to beat the crap out of it, and it turns into a pretty good bat. But it's going to take you doing that in order to make it be a good one. As a matter of fact, I've got mine sitting in the closet right now, and there's been a couple of times where it's like, man, maybe I could just like keep this in the bag. If I just got to blow a ball out of the park, I'll get this thing out, put it back and swing a balance bat again. What's the best bat and ball combo for distance for being senior, U-Trip, or ASA? I mean, it's going to be Suncoast, one-piece Suncoast Senior, 28 or heavier, and an Ultimate Evil. One-piece Suncoast Senior, in load, and an Ultimate Evil. I mean, if you hit that combo one time, you'll never want to hit anything else again. I can already tell you. Absolutely absurd. Gio says they're doing a t-shirt for last place in fantasy football. I'm just going to say I took last place in my family fantasy football league. That's tough. Ooh, try to get your hands on a Jack Nemesis. Yeah, that's actually a good idea. So I actually, when I read that question, I actually tried to think that, but I couldn't remember the name of the bat company. It was Jacked. So the Jack Nemesis, correct me if I'm wrong. We're diving into the topic of last week's podcast. Good grief, here we go. But what was the bat company that was made under the same roof that Combat was? Was it Jacked? CE Composites, I should say. CE Composites also made another bat. Another company's bat. If it wasn't Jacked, I can't remember what it was. Somebody help me out. Dennis, you might know. You're an OG. Used bat market sucks. Dennis likes the 13-inch LS barrel over the 12-inch. Yeah, the 13-inch does feel better. I will agree with that. I would like to swing a 12-inch with a half ounce, because the only experience I've had is a 12-inch with a full ounce, and man, it's juicy. I feel like I would have a lot more control in just overall have a lot more fun swinging a half ounce in those bats. Like it just really depends. Some bats like a half, some bats like a full. And I have noticed too, like sometimes the longer barrels I like a full, and the shorter barrels I like a half. I've kind of come to know that over time, and now I'm swinging a balance bat, so who knows what I like. But I will say that the 13-inch LS barrels are extremely hard to beat. Okay, yeah, Adam says it was Jacked. Okay. So yeah, you had the Jack Nemesis. What was the other one? And then a Combat also made a bat that was sanctioned for anything. Was it the Krankenstein? Is that right? I think. Adam says need to try the short porch for senior. So Snacks is going to be doing a couple senior bat reviews for us as soon as all this rain washes away. And I do believe he has one of the short porches, and he's got something else up his sleeve too, I believe. So he's going to be getting those out for us. Looking forward to him swinging those so we can get that content posted too. Excuse me. Stefano wants to know, how does the Iron Man Genesis compare to the older Genesis? I have the OG Sanchez Genesis. So this year's Iron Man, when it comes to technology-wise, I do believe that the Iron Man was the debut of their new technology, LS's new composite technology. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not 100% up and up on Louisville's composite technology as far as what bats feature what, but I know at some point in this year they have switched to a new technology. And performance-wise, I'm going to be honest, it feels the same, but they break in way faster. And I thought they hit well out of the wrapper, too. That's kind of the crazy thing is the Louisvilles have always hit well since the stamp change, have always hit well out of the wrapper. But take a little bit of time to get going. And when I say a little bit of time, I mean like 75, 80 swings, and then it's just like, bang, it's like a light switch. But now it's like a couple dry swings, maybe a tap back, take one swing way too close to something, and then it's broke in. What that means for durability, I can't tell you yet. I know that my gamer Iron Man is right at 200, probably flirting with 250 swings. It's still testing in the mid 250s. So definitely getting lower compression, breaking in faster, getting lower compression, and still hitting extremely well. But as far as performance goes, going from one technology to the other, I don't personally feel like one technology performs better. It just breaks in way faster and is a lot more forgiving too. But one thing, somebody asked me a comment today. One thing I have noticed with doing a lot more videos is I get a lot more comments to keep up with. So sometimes I'll have to sit down at home or somewhere else, and I need to get something set up so I can take a computer or something with me to work and keep up with the comments at work, because my wife has been using our extra computer for some stuff. But I need to get something set up other than my phone. It's just so tedious to do something from a phone. But it's been a bit of a job to keep up with the comments, but the ones that I try and I know I can give a quick answer to, I do. Somebody asked me today, comparing like the Griffey 2.0, basically comparing like 3 or 4 different Louisvilles. And it's like I told them, don't overread it. They're all 13-inch inloads. They're all going to perform the same. So ultimately, at the end of the day, all the Louisville stuff is, I won't say the same soup in a different bowl. They could have their nuances. I don't know for sure. But to me, personally, they're all gas, and I don't feel like one stands out above the others. Monster or Anarchy? I haven't swung in Anarchy, and I couldn't tell you how long. Been probably at least 2 years, maybe even longer than that. Leaf is supposed to be sending us some Anarchy seniors to get in, though. I talked to him about a week ago, and he said he was going to try and get something going for us. So we'll see what ends up happening with that. It'd be kind of cool to get those in. Drink of the podcast is Wada. By the way, hopefully I don't screw up my focus here for this camera. Dude, it slaps. I don't know what they do to it. I don't know why they do it, but it slaps. Drank that, knocked it out, and filled this bitch up with water. Drink 2 of these a day usually. Gotta have your water. Water is good for the soul. Because somebody told me I need to start doing the drink of the podcast again. It might have been my son. Randomly enough, my son watches all of our podcasts. He's 14 and does not play slow pitch softball, but I think he just likes watching dad podcasts. So he says he always goes back and watches them, and he says, you should do the drink of the podcast again. I was like, hell, why not? Martin, your BP friend. You're my BP friend? Let's go. I love that name. That's so dope. Got an OG Kato that I would love to send you. So here's the deal. I need to have a discussion with you guys. Let's do this. I'll tell you what. You guys, right now, are going to decide the fate of this channel. I shouldn't say the fate, but let's see. Start a poll. Should we change the rules to throw Oh, I got to reword that. Hang on. Give me just a second here, guys. Oh, gosh. How do I want to word this? Only got 100 characters and it's hard. Change the Throwback Thursday rules. One more. Hang on. Give me just a second here, guys. Okay. I have a feeling where this is going to go, and I'm not going to be a fan of it. I ain't going to lie to you. The purist in me doesn't like that this is going to happen, but I guarantee you I know what's going to happen here. So let me explain. So the poll is up to change the Throwback Thursday rules. I've had so many people offer up bats. You know, I got a Kato, like guy here has in the chat. You know, I've got a Kato. What about I mean, gosh, whatever bat. I don't know. What about a blue resi, or what about this bat, or what about that bat? I have always, since I started doing Throwback Thursdays, stuck to it has to be 2013 and older, because that's when the initial U-Trip thumbprint stamp started. And I could be wrong, but I want to say that ASA also changed their standard that year, maybe the year before. But I want to say it started that year. And I've made it like a line drawn very hard in the sand that it has to be that generation and older, because I want to see like actual throwbacks, not stuff that was from 2 or 3 years ago. To me, that's not a throwback. That's a look in the past. I like throwbacks to be stuff that was swung when I was a kid, stuff that was swung when some of you were in diapers. You know, that's what I want. I want to see the stuff that, like, when I first started playing softball back in 2008. I want to see like the stuff that was on the field then. Like, let's swing that stuff now and see what it compares to, see what it's like. Because something I would like to do is take, you know, whatever Throwback Thursday bat we're swinging, and then compare it to, in the same video, compare it to a new bat. But the other thing I got to thinking too is we could just do 10 years or older, which would start to kind of drag in some of the 2013. So that would be some of your new thumbprint stamp bats. I think the stamp change might have been 2012. I'm sitting here thinking about that. Yes, it was 2012, because you had the, I always think of the Easons. The Easons is how I remember it. Because Easton had the 100Hs, and those were 2012 bats. Then the L1 and L2, L1, L2, and L5 were 2013. So 2012 was the first year of the stamp. So I guess it was 2012. I can't edit that now, but I have made a line drawn very hard in the sand to make it like the old stuff. The Freak 98s, the Extendeds, the Flexes, which I haven't done an extended or a flex, but stuff from that era, stuff that's like when you walk into plating in sports, if you're, you know, somebody in your early 20s, you look at a bat on the rack and look at your buddy and say, look at this old piece of crap. Well, guess what? That old piece of crap is actually freaking gas, bro. Go out and hit it. That's the stuff that I love doing with the Throwback Thursdays. It's kind of funny because we got a couple of, I'm not going to throw them under the bus. We got a couple of guys that hit with us that just look at me and say, oh, I don't, listen, if we're doing throwbacks, I'm not coming. That's cool. I don't mind. I get it. Because throwbacks can definitely be deflating to the ego. I will say that for sure. Definitely deflating to the ego, but it's a lot of fun to swing. And prime example of it would be that Jeff Hall Titan that we swung. I remember a couple of teams that had those bats when we played in the St. Louis area a lot. And dude, they were gas. I mean, just killing the ball. Either Sun Valley played small and Apex bullets were really hard. It was one of the two. But I remember those things being nuts. And then we got one to swing. It looked like it had some miles on it. I'm thinking, man, like this thing's going to be nuts. Let's go. Dude, it was awful. I ain't gonna lie to you. It was awful. So to have that happen to us, I'm kind of like, man, this kind of sucks. But that's kind of the fun of Throwback Thursday. But that's the line that's drawn extremely hard in the sand is, that's the old stuff, man. And I had a lot of people offer up stuff. I had a couple people offer like 100H or 100W, or our guy BGF has offered us a red L1, which is 2014. But to me, I mean, honestly, yeah. I mean, you could definitely look back at that and talk about it, laugh about it. But it's the line in the sand. It's definitely old. So that's kind of what made me think, like, should we change it and do 10 years or older, or should we leave it at that stamp change? And I don't know, like I said, where I came up with that, necessarily came up with that rule, but I think the main thing for me is the follow me here, guys, for the OGs, the pre-ABI and post-ABI bats. There were pre-ABI and post-ABI bats, which were accelerated break-in. That was before the stamp change. So you had companies that had pre-ABI, which were bats like, I want to say some of the older freaks would have been in the pre-ABI. You see, you had your freaks, some of your psychos and stuff would have been too. I'm just like mainly thinking of bats that would like come to mind real quick. So you had your psychos, your early psychos, your freaks and stuff like that, and then you had like your freak limiteds, maybe, stuff like your newer folks and stuff like that would have been post ABI. The White Canal 2 would have been post ABI. Stuff like that would have been, so they didn't change the stamp, but they did change the way the bats needed to break in. So like maybe that's why I think of that era, is because it's also cool to like see there was no, back in the day, there was no testing. There would be guys that would get those old synergies out and just put 19 kajillion swings on them. Pass it around, do whatever they want for the whole entire year. Like I play with a guy here locally, play league with him, and he was on what would have, in my opinion, been conference back in the day. Hell, for who knows, it might have actually been conference back in the day. He was playing on a sponsored Mizuno team, and he said that they were turning. I'm trying to think of which one it was. It was one of the Tech Fires. He said they were just boat paddling them every tournament. They'd send them a box, and they just mow through the whole box in one tournament. But those guys were absolutely mashing the ball. But it's stories like that that go with bats like that. I'd love to swing a Tech Fire on the channel again. I think I've swung a couple, but the one I love is the Tech Fire Fury, the red one. Whoa. You talk about a fun bat to swing. And like stuff like that to me is fun. That's what I dig when it comes to doing the Throwback Thursdays, is doing stuff like that, because it's the bats that just last forever. Like there's guys that I know to this day still, like I'm talking like local podunk stuff, they still swing their bats from way back when. Like I guarantee you, local guys, if you know who Chris Harmon is, Chris Harmon would probably get out his freak. Was it freak? His freak 98 broke. I think he swings a freak limited. I know he's got a couple of OG freaks probably still, but he's got a freak limited that he swings 29 ounce, I believe, if I could be wrong. But I guarantee you he would still get that thing out and swing it right now. So stuff like that is cool. That's the stuff that I love for the throwbacks. And it's not that, who wouldn't want to swing a new stamp? Or sorry, I say new stamp. Who wouldn't want to swing a thumbprint stamp, L1 with, 4,000 swings on it? Or who wouldn't want to swing a blue resi with, 2 2,000 swings on it and just like touch a ball and watch it go out. Yeah, that's the same concept as some of the older stuff, but the older stuff is like they don't make them like they used to kind of thing. It's bats broken 10,000 swings, not 2,000 swings. And just the stories that some of those bats can tell and the stories that go along with the bats is kind of why I like that. But it is good to see, just based on the votes here, that most of you are kind of in the same thought process as me. That's kind of cool. But don't get me wrong, I do respect the other opinion because, like I said, it's got me kind of thinking. Because don't get me wrong, I love to swing like I said, a blue resi. So I remember when the blue resis came out, dude, they were, oof. So I wouldn't hate to take a round of BP with one of those and see how far I could still hit a ball with one. Or even doing. I got a couple integrities in the closet. I wouldn't mind getting those out and swinging them if we had to do just not currently stamped bats. But to me, that's not far enough back to be a throwback. But maybe one day we'll get there. Let's see. Catching up with the chat here. Any update on the Reaper? I need to swing it soon. I've been kind of saving it. It's I'm emotionally dead inside. Okay, I'm just gonna throw that out there. But something about that one in the story that it can tell, just not ready for it yet. John, if you're watching or catching up with this later, I haven't forgot about it. It's still sitting in the closet. I'm not ready to dive down dive down that road yet. It's getting me again. But anyway, Q says #swing pure. Yeah, I mean, listen, Dad likes free bats. Okay, and that's not a flex. Trust me. Louisville was very gracious to send some bats out for us to review. If they call me today, tonight, today, tomorrow, whenever, and said they wanted their bats back, I'd send them back with no hesitation. But as long as they're going to let me keep them, I'm going to swing them unless Pure decides to send me some 27 balanced, and we're going to see what that's about. Just like the reason why I'm swinging this 27 balanced Pure Evil right now. One, Dad loves free bats, and two, Pure's ASA tech is nuts. I feel like the channel's kind of turned into an infomercial for Pure's ASA technology, but I just don't care. It's that good, and I enjoy it, and I think you guys should too. Mike Reyes says, are we doing custom Pure BP Hero bats again? Honestly, I've kind of debated that a little bit, but I took an absolute bath on a couple of things YouTube-wise. From like the YouTube side of things, I took an absolute bath on a couple of things that really cost me. I'm not going to get into it. It's not worth getting into. Just know that I'm going to be leery about doing a buy-in for a while. Nobody did me wrong. It was nothing personal, nothing like that. It was just, it stung, and it stung bad, and I'm not ready to be over that yet, and I can't have it happen again, especially with something as big as that, because the dollar amount that I sent out for the last time that I did a Pure custom order, when I sent that money to Pure, I kind of stopped and thought to myself, like, holy shit. If something goes wrong here, I'm dead. There was a lot of money that they got transferred hands there. I collected a lot of money, and I sent a lot of money out. Eric Sun says, Combat made a senior bat for another company. I remember there was a word elite in the name of it. Can't remember. Anthony tried to shed some weight. I'm guessing you're asking that in regards to me drinking a gallon of water a day. Even when I'm being a total fat piece of crap, I still drink a gallon of water a day. It just makes me feel better, honestly. I can still be a fat piece of crap and eat Taco Bell and still want to feel good. As crazy as it is to sound. But yeah, we're still on the weight loss grind, chipping away at it. But so the water obviously helps with that too. But honestly, I feel like it just kind of helps keep you flushed out too, which I think like sometimes, everybody goes on those little benders where they eat like absolute dog crap sometimes. And I feel like that's part of what can make a person not feel as bad, which isn't a good thing. Don't get me wrong. It's like justifying eating bad and not feeling bad, or, feeling not as bad from eating bad. But the water just helps keep you flushed out and keeps it just that shit not just, laying there inside of you, just making you feel like crap. Art Gutierrez says, is the Suncoast Senior One Piece still available on the market, or is it an oldie? No, there's absolutely. They're still in stock at Headbanger. I can get you one right now. Chris Smitty says, what's the most important thing when starting a team? I have tons of players, good friends, and ball friends. So honestly, okay, here's the deal. This is kind of a hot topic for me right now. And some of my friends, you should be able to show up to the ballpark and have fun with your friends. Winning, obviously nobody shows up to lose, so don't misunderstand me when I say that. But nobody should be showing up to the ballpark. I mean, don't... Got to choose my words wisely here. It's no fun to me to show up to the ballpark wondering if I fuck up one time, if I'm going to have a spot at the end of the day. There's people that are about that life, and there's people that live for that type of softball. But to me, that's not softball. That's not fun. There's being competitive. There's being an absolute grinder. I want to grind with my friends. I can grind with my friends. I can grind just as hard to keep a spot on a team as I can with a group full of friends. Will we be as good? Probably not. But who gives a damn? I'd rather share the field with a bunch of friends that I know that I'm going to see once I quit playing softball, or I'm going to stay in touch with once I quit playing softball, because they're my friends outside of softball. I want to be able to share those stories with those guys when, I get so damn old that I can't play softball no more. I get tired of softball tomorrow and I want to quit. I'm still going to see those people all the time, and we're still going to laugh and talk about softball, and all the dumb shit that we did, and that's what it's about to me. And that's not saying play buddy ball. It's not, got to get this guy on the team, that guy on the team. You can be competitive and still play softball. You can, 100%. And kind of, I feel like part of that goes along with that is like motivate your friends to get better, and maybe once a couple of your friends see, oh damn, he's grinding, he wants to get better. Well, then maybe a couple more friends want to grind and get better. It's a contagious thing too. And I'm going to tell you, chemistry can damn near outdo anything when it comes to skill set. There's been times where, somebody asked me, oh, we're loading up a team or this or that. I'd almost rather take like 10 mediocre players that are all really good friends as I would 10 absolute ringers who are just a herd of idiots, because chances are those herd of idiots are all going to try killing each other by the end of the day. They may not, and they may just roll through it. But at the same time, like, they're going to get in the car and they're going to go home, and they don't give a shit about talking to anybody on that softball field ever again. That's not a thing for me. And maybe that's because I came up playing softball with all my friends, so that's all I know. But I got a very small taste of cutthroat softball, and I just, no, it ain't for me. Showing up to the ballpark wondering if you got a spot when you leave fucking sucks. Pardon my French, and I'm sorry if you're watching this with your kids or whatever else, but that's how much I mean it. If you got to show up to the ballpark wondering if you're going to have a spot at the end of the day, if you're that worried about it, just don't go. Go play with some friends. Go find a different team. Go find a home. You shouldn't have to struggle to be on a field playing a grown man's sport. Off the soapbox. Chris says, my first bat I used in 2013, crushed on 245 to 265 fields. Yeah, let's go. Love them short fields. Would love to see a 454 eats an L6 versus the newer bats. Exit velo and distance comparison. Dude, won't even be close. Probably the only 454 that would even hang with some of the newer bats would be the black balance one. I can't remember the model number of it. But, I mean, it was, obviously it was the one everybody wanted to have. It was the ASA one. Everybody had to have one. Dude, they were just sick. Absolutely sick bats. Eric says metal bats for throwback. Yeah, hey, so Eric, by the way, real quick. Hey, send me a message, would you? So you sent me one of them things for a throwback, and I need to know what ball I need to hit with that thing. And I think you know what I'm talking about. I'm not sure what ball was hit when that bat was a thing, but I need to figure out. A couple more minutes here with the podcast, and then we're going to go and get some video games in on the other channel. Always try and keep the podcast at an hour, and we're just about to that point. So if you're into good laughs or anything else, then be sure and head over to Hanging with the Hero. We're going to go live and do a little more broadcasting. I'll even answer some more questions while we're there. I'll be honest with you. But I like to play video games. We suck, but we try as hard as we can. So probably go live over there, get a little bit of Fortnite action in, let you laugh at us, how dumb we are. I don't know if Quentin's playing. I don't know if anybody else wants to play. If you do, just hit me up. We can get you in there. Got room for 2 more as of now because I'm pretty sure Gabe's being a punk. Okay. Oh, let's see. A couple more here. Sweet Gun, in case you hit it, duh. Reebok Barrage. Oh, bro. Whoa. No, that's one that would be fun. I could do the Reebok Barrage. Question. Does it have a rattle yet? Because if it has it, keep hitting it. So my buddy Steve had one of those things. And, dude, I mean, it sounded like somebody, like, took the cap off of it, dumped a bunch of gravel in it, and then popped the cap back on. It's so crazy. Chris Smitty says 20 years and older. No, I have a little bit of pride left, so I can't be embarrassed myself on the internet like that. Find a connection with the ball bearing inload, the green tri-shell. Dang. And the OG Mizuno Crush. Oh, there's Brian Fisk. What's up, pal? Deemer Fat Boy 30 ounce was the bad. I'd hit bombs all day. Oh, yeah. Rip It. Yeah. Rip It was also made by CE. I forgot about Rip It. That's right, because I got a Rip It Reaper in the closet. Duh. Anthony wants to Pure Evil. Back off, brother. Get your own. I had an old yellow and green Rip It that was gas. One of the first senior bats I ever saw. Yeah. Bat reviewing isn't cheap. Hell no, it ain't cheap. Ain't nothing cheap about it. Yeah, Q, we got some stories to tell. Bro, you ain't lying. Bro, I'm telling you. And that's what softball's about, man. That's what it's all about. Softball is about laughing and jackassing around and having a good time. And like I said, you don't have to show up and just be a bunch of world beaters. Trust me. I've been to tournaments and I've just steamrolled everybody there. And I've also been to tournaments and been the steamrollee, you know. I've definitely delivered mine and I've definitely taken mine. There's no question about that. But it was with my friends. It wasn't with a bunch of strangers. It wasn't, hey, I'm putting this team together. I know you don't know any of these dudes, but you want to come play softball with them? I tried that. I don't know. It just wasn't for me. Then I tried it again, and it still wasn't for me. Maybe that's just my excuse for sucking and not being competitive. I don't know. I can't really tell you. I'm not going to try and sit here and make excuses or guess or anything else, but I'm telling you, if you can't show up to the ballpark and laugh about your day when you leave, you didn't do it right. Do I have a discount code with Pure Evil? I do not, actually. My best advice for you would be to reach out to a Pure rep, Joshua Stubbs, maybe if you're here. Or catch up tomorrow. Maybe somebody can catch up in the comments and he can put some contact information there. I'm not going to put anything on there because I don't want to put any his information out there that he might not want out there. Draft leagues are fun. You get to know a lot of guys, and the bad attitudes get weeded out fast. Absolutely. I'd love to do a draft league, as a matter of fact. Draft leagues, draft tournaments, that kind of thing. I know the Spider Super Drafts is this weekend. I believe, right? I think our guy Pat Sexton, congrats, pal, might have won the Spider Super Draft over the weekend. That would definitely be a lot of fun to do, like some kind of super draft or like a draft tournament. Even a draft league would be awesome. Q says, if you ain't fighting over Uno, you didn't even go to the tournament. Yeah, I don't know where this Uno thing stops either. It's getting out of control. I thought about so if you ever played Skip, was it Skip, help me, Skip Bo, Skip Boo, Skip B-O. It's B-O. I don't know how you say Boo, Bo, whatever. That's an interesting one too. That one might get broke out, but right now Uno is the play, and it's the Uno flip. If you're an Uno guy and you haven't played Uno flip, you got to pick it up. Next time you go to the store, I don't care. Make sure it's the first thing you get is Uno flip, because that shit gets wild. But all right, guys. Well, listen, that's it for the podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed the Random Whatnots podcast, the Anything Goes, Hold On Tight podcast. Like I said, I opened the floor to anything, and softball's still all we talked about. We talked about Uno for a minute, but it was only because it was part of softball. I'm going to close this poll here. As a matter of fact, let me get a screenshot of that. Oh, wrong button. Still learning. Okay. So I might extend that out to... Okay. I might extend that out to the rest of the viewers who maybe can't catch the podcast or whatever else, but I may not either. I haven't decided yet. Because I like it the way it is, and apparently you guys do too. I don't want that to change. It's my way of gatekeeping it the way I want to do it. Right, so Hanging with the Hero, 10-ish minutes. Just YouTube, Hanging with the Hero, you'll find it. We've been on there live a bunch of times. Be a Fortnite idiots. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. So in case you hit it, BP Hero, catch you on the Hanging with the Hero channel. And I'll catch you next time if you don't head over there. Wow, what an awkward ending. Bye.